Hello friends, today we are cleaning a roof here in Oak Ridge, Tennessee, and as you saw from the drone video, there is mold stains and spots on the roof, and obviously caused from the leaves. It's under a bunch of trees. We see this all the time in Oak Ridge and around Knoxville. The thing is people think that because the roof looks like this, it needs to be replaced. That's not always the case.
This client is interested in getting his roof repaired, and we suggested that he allow us to clean it so that the next contractor can see very clearly what needs repaired. For example, this has been repaired and this needs to be cleaned.
But if you don't clean the roof, it will need replaced because the mold sitting on the shingles long enough can deteriorate the shingles, cause mold damage, water damage under, and then your roof starts to leak. So regularly cleaning this will save you a lot of money. We were here a few weeks ago and we had cleaned a bunch of leaves off already, and we cleaned out all the gutters, making sure that they flow and drain properly, which is important before we clean roofs, because you use a lot of chemical to clean a shingle roof, and we don't want that chemical to overflow the gutters and fall into the yard, killing their plants. We have neutralizers on hand when we need it, but we make sure that everything will be directed and controlled so that there's no evidence that we were here other than a cleaner house when we're done. When you keep leaves on your roof, as the water has to run down, it's going to fill up, and then these leaves can even pile up and they can make a dam basically, which is going to allow the water to go under the roof. And then if you have mold growing on top and that happening, that's why the shingles fall apart like we saw down there. And then that's why water starts to leak into your roof. So regular cleaning will save you money. You don't always need to replace your roof simply because you see mold. You just need to clean it off and keep it off. So this brightness is what the shingles are supposed to look like. Therefore, this roof has been very moldy. I'm not a roof construction expert. We are experienced. We know what it's supposed to feel like, and this roof is not in bad shape. Sadly, there are companies that will look and see that the roof is dark and moldy, and they'll tell you that you need to completely replace the entire roof, and that's just not the case. It simply needs cleaned. A contractor is going to come by and he's going to walk up here and check the roof. We're back here at this roof now. I have my friend Ben Olvis with me. He's going to walk on the roof that we just cleaned. He's going to show us some spots that would signify to him whether or not the roof needs replaced.
Ben Olvis with Ben Olvis Remodeling. I've been doing roofs for probably 15 years. I got some experience in volunteer work is where I learned most of my roofing trade. We did quite a few Kingdom Halls, of course, and a bunch of homes for our other friends as well too. I've done quite a few years of disaster relief, so I've been to the Bahamas, of course to Florida, Louisiana. So each area, of course, has different codes, so learning the codes there is a little different, of course, than East Tennessee. So it's always kind of nice to know what hurricane standards and stuff are. be able to use some of those in our area too to help a customer have a roof that lasts longer.
What do you look for to know if a roof needs replaced?
So typically, the first thing is easy to check your boots. You can tell a lot by the age and how fast they deteriorate, because the rubber will get not elastic anymore and be cracky and brittle. Your shingles will start to buckle.
What does that mean?
They'll start to raise up a little bit.
Oh, okay.
Yep. Of course, the granules. I mean, that backside's getting pretty light. Cracking and stuff too. I mean, when you cleaned it, like you said, with all those leaves and stuff, typically leaves piling up or moss or anything is definitely going to wear the shingles a whole lot faster. Especially moss, because moss can actually make them come up as well, and they can start growing up underneath the shingle.
Exactly.
And holding the moisture in.
Right. Do you determine all of that and then figure that the whole roof needs replaced? Because all of that tells you what the age of the roof is?
Yeah.
Or do you just look at the condition of the roof and consider that it all needs replaced?
So, it seems like in our area, you know, most can go anywhere from 20 to 30 years. Even though they're guaranteed for longer, but typically 20 to 30 years in our area, just because humidity, and we do get some pretty hot summers. It seems like that's a pretty long lifespan for a roof in our area. So like this one, I'd say, looking at it, I'd say it within the next 5 years, it could definitely use a roof.
Okay.
Yeah, and it's trying to piece it in. If you strip an area and try to piece it in, it's always just gonna look pieced in.
Right.
And by the time you labor out for somebody to do it, you could spend just a little more and get the whole thing done at once.
Got it. It's often not a choice to replace what needs repaired, because
unless it's a really good roofing company, if it's just some contractor they just met type of deal, you're gonna try to patch it in, you're gonna get a leak more than likely.
They're gonna cause damage where they put it in.
Yep. Because when you go to try to strip up that first layer of shingle to be able to tuck that first one, a lot of times you're gonna rip it.
Right.
You're gonna damage it a little bit. And if you don't seal it well.
Right.
And that's always gonna be a weak spot there.
Right.
Where you rip the first one up.
So if you get on a roof and you see that there's a lot of mold on the shingles, it's slippery, does that kind of tell you that there's probably issues?
Yeah. Especially as mold, you can tell if the mold's been there for a while, if it's mold and plus moss.
Right.
The more moisture you can keep off the roof,
of course,
the longer it's gonna last.
Right.
But it doesn't have any nail pops or anything.
Nope. Is that something else you look for?
Yeah, you look for nail pops, and the sheeting underneath feels good and solid.
Yeah. So you walk on it if it's wavy or spongy.
If it's wavy or spongy, then you definitely want to resheet it. Yeah.
Water going under it.
Yeah. Yeah, because it's more than likely it's delaminating the sheeting.
Got it.
But this one feels good and solid.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like this one just feels like it would just be a strip and reshingle.
Got it. Do you ever recommend putting shingles on shingles?
So it doesn't last as long when you do it.
Okay. Good to know.
Of course, it's a cheaper option.
Yeah.
And some people might be like, yeah, it'll be fine. But the heat will make the shingles not last as long.
Right.
When you start layering the shingles up like that.
So the heat starts to build in between?
Yeah. Yep. Especially a dimensional shingle, you know, it's a lot more than a 3-tab shingle.
Yeah. Yeah.
So if you do another dimensional on top of a dimensional, you're talking pretty good thickness.
Yeah.
And a lot of tar, so when the sun's out, the heat.
So that thickness is not always a good thing.
Not always a good thing.
Holds in the heat.
Holds in the heat.
And the heat is what deteriorates the structure.
Yep.
So there you have it. Don't neglect your roof. Is it a bad thing if you have mold on your roof? Absolutely, it is. If you have mold on your roof, does it mean that you need to replace the roof? You need to replace all the shingles because that mold has been sitting on there for a long time. You know you haven't cleaned it in a long time. Therefore, it's probably leaking. The paneling is rotted. No, none of that's true. You should get your roof inspected to know for sure. Here in Tennessee, like Ben said, you might get 25 to 30 years out of your roof. So if your roof isn't 30 years old yet, maybe get it cleaned first and then have someone check it out. If you don't see any problems, likely it's okay, but don't neglect the roof. If you don't clean your roof regularly, you're for sure not going to get the 25 to 30 years out of your roof. We offer roof cleaning services, of course. We also offer roof sealing services. Just like sealing concrete to protect the water from soaking into the concrete, we can seal your roof, the shingle roof, to give it that extra layer of protection. I hope you enjoyed this video. Please ask questions. Most importantly, if you're interested in our services, call or text us. We come out and we give a free estimate. We'd be happy to hear from you, and thank you for watching.
Am I in the video?
Yeah, Jade. Do it, lady. Huh. Sounds like an owl.
It wasn't now.
It was an owl?
No,
He's early.
he's lost.